Generative AI Day. Today, I'm excited to share how you can democratize data and Gen AI across your entire organization. The potential of this technology is incredibly exciting, with a forecasted $7 trillion increase in global GDP over the next 10 years. Generative AI has taken the world by storm because we have been able to, through consumer-facing applications, experience how powerful the latest machine learning models have become. With so much potential, why is this technology, which has been percolating for decades, seeing so much interest just now? That's because it has finally reached its tipping point, the convergence of technological progress and the value of what it could accomplish. With massive proliferation of data, the availability of highly scalable compute capacity, and the advancement of ML technologies over time, generative AI is finally taking shape. In particular, these ML innovations have made the capabilities of Gen AI possible just within the last few years. The arrival of Gen AI has mostly been fueled by the evolution of ML models. These models, which power AI applications, are trained on large amounts of data to help us perform specific tasks. And while traditional ML models required months of costly data preparation to produce a model for one specific task, the large models that power Gen AI applications, called foundation models, cut down on this development process significantly because they are pre-trained on massive amounts of unlabeled data. The key takeaway here is that these foundation models can be easily adapted to complete a wide variety of generalized tasks. So, while a lot of attention has been given to how consumers are using generative AI, we think there is an even bigger opportunity in how businesses will leverage these foundational models to deliver amazing experiences for their customers and employees. For instance, Fox Sports is creating real-time sportscasting content for consumers, advertisers, and broadcasters. 3M Health Information Systems is developing a Gen AI application for real-time speech recognition and ambient clinical documentation to ease the burden of clinical documentation on physicians. And Salesforce is building Gen AI solutions for its data cloud to deliver highly relevant, real-time insights and prediction capabilities for its customers. And after working with thousands of customers to accelerate their Gen AI journey over the past 6 months, we have developed a blueprint for business leaders to help you get started. Let's dig into the first step in our blueprint now, finding the right use case. Generative AI can accelerate productivity and transform your business operations in a variety of ways. You can improve customer experiences through capabilities like chatbots or virtual assistant. You can boost your employees' productivity with text summarization or code generation. You can turbocharge production of all types of creative content like art, music, or animations. And you can use generative AI to improve your underlying business operations. With so many opportunities, knowing where to start can be a little bit overwhelming. That's why my biggest piece of advice for selecting the right use case is to fall in love with the problem and not the solution. At Amazon, we work backwards from our customers' needs before we start to propose solutions. So start small with problems that cause day-to-day irritations, what we call as paper cuts, and ask yourself these type of questions like, what is your goal and what does success look like in this area? Do you have the data to help in this process? Start brainstorming and think outside the box to find the right solution. How you can make the impossible become possible with Gen AI. Are you willing to act on these ideas and then quickly iterate on them? In our experience, these are the customers who have been most successful. One way we help our customers do this today is with our AWS Generative AI Innovation Center, a new program to help accelerate success with our Gen AI tools and services. Customers like Lonely Planet and Ryanair are working with our group of AWS experts to develop new use cases. It is critical to find the right level of support if you're not sure where to begin. The second step in the blueprint focuses on using your data to build powerful GenAI applications. Of course, data is key to building foundational models, and some companies will do this. For instance, a major data vendor built a 50 billion parameter large language models purpose-built from scratch specifically for the financial services industry to support natural language processing tasks. Their GPT product represents the first step in the development and application of this new technology for the financial industry. This research model will be used to develop a production model that will assist them in improving existing tasks such as sentiment analysis, named entity recognition, news classification, and question and answering, among many others. But even if you aren't building your own model, your data is absolutely important. When you want to build GenAI applications that are unique to your business needs, your organization's data is your differentiator. If you think about it, everyone has access to the same GenAI models. So data is the key to move from generic AI to generative AI that knows your business and your customer. Companies that will be successful in building GenAI applications with real business value are those that will do so using that data to customize these powerful foundational models, either through fine-tuning these models or using a technique called in-context learning to provide models with real-time and business-relevant data. For example, Booking.com is using its data to fine-tune language models to deliver destination and accommodation recommendations that are tailored and relevant to its customers. The PGA Tour is working with AWS to leverage years of proprietary data they own to build a GenAI virtual assistant that will eventually address questions from fans, players, and other constituents. With AWS, it's easy to use your organization's data as a strategic asset to customize these foundational models and build more differentiated experiences using Amazon Bedrock. Bedrock offers broad model choice, data privacy, and the ability to customize models without managing any infrastructure. This is an especially exciting time to start building new experiences on Amazon Bedrock because we recently announced that it's now generally available. Now, when it comes to foundational models, it is important to emphasize that no one model will rule them all. That's why we offer a broad choice of foundational models from leading providers like AI21 Labs, Anthropic, Cohere, Stability AI, and Amazon for our customers' use cases. To further expand choice and flexibility for customers, we recently announced the addition of Meta as a model provider for Amazon Bedrock. Meta is introducing the availability of Llama 2, their next generation open source large language model. Amazon Bedrock is the first cloud service to offer Llama 2 secure fine-tuning as a fully managed API. Bedrock has enabled our customers to start innovating with the right tools for their use cases, including applications for self-service customer support, text analysis, report generation, post-call analysis, and forecasting trends, and many others. All of this innovation is incredibly exciting. But in order to build these type of applications and unique customer experiences, you need access to the best data. And to get the best data, you need to build a strong data foundation. According to a recent McKinsey report, companies that have not yet found ways to effectively harmonize and provide ready access to their data will be enabled to fine-tune generative AI to unlock more of its potentially transformative user experiences. This requires a strong data foundation with access to a comprehensive set of services to be able to store various types of data for building and fine-tuning models. You will also want to make sure that you have ready access to all of your data. You will need to be able to integrate with other data sources and leverage services that are integrated together so you can break down these data silos and get a complete picture of your business or customer. Data also needs to be secured and governed throughout the life cycle of building a GenAI application. One of the biggest barriers to working with your data is the ability for your teams to locate the right data sources and access it when they need it. By putting the right governance strategy in place, you can enable your teams to move and innovate faster with ready access to high-quality data. But creating the right governance controls can be extremely complex and time-consuming. That's why we have invested in changing how data governance works in the cloud. And that's why we offer Amazon Data Zone, a data management service that supports the entire data discovery, access, and usage lifecycle with complete visibility and control over how the data is being shared and who authorized it. Customers like Guardant Health are using Data Zone to foster a culture of data sharing and to explore the potential of generative AI using data that is high quality and compliant. Now, so far we have explored how you can tackle your priority use cases and leverage a strong foundation to build GenAI applications with tools like Amazon Bedrock. But there is another way to derive value from generative AI that does not require you to build any applications on your own. For the third step of our blueprint, rather than build or customize your own model, you can leverage tools with generative AI built inside of them to accelerate productivity across your organization. For example, one area where these types of services will be critical is coding, which is rapidly evolving with generative AI. Developers spend a lot of time writing code that is pretty straightforward and heavily undifferentiated. Generative AI can remove this heavy lifting by writing this code for them, allowing developers to build faster while freeing them up to focus on the more creative aspects of coding. To enable this type of capability within your own organization, you need the right tools. Our solution to this is Amazon Code Whisperer, an AI coding companion that uses a foundational model under the hood to radically improve developer productivity by generating code suggestions in real time. During preview, we ran a productivity challenge that showed participants who used Code Whisperer were 27% more likely to complete the task successfully and did so by 57% faster on average. This is a giant leap forward in developer productivity, and we believe this is just the beginning. It has the potential to make entire engineering organizations even more productive. That's why we recently announced a new Code Whisperer customization capability, which enables Code Whisperer to generate even better suggestions than before, because it can now include your internal APIs, libraries, best practices, and architectural patterns. With this capability, you can securely connect your private repositories or your internal code base to Code Whisperer, and with just a few clicks, you can customize Code Whisperer to generate real-time recommendations that include your internal code base. For example, with this capability, a developer working in a food delivery company can ask Code Whisperer to provide recommendations that include specific code related to company's internal services, such as process a list of unassigned food deliveries around the driver's current location. This capability will be available in preview soon as part of new Code Whisperer Enterprise tier. Another example of where GenAI can help you be more productive is in more data-driven decision-making. For example, every organization I meet with wants to be more data-driven. Companies that can tap the value of their data can build and innovate faster. For example, when a sales team can better understand conversion rates from free trial accounts to paying accounts, they can optimize their marketing and sales programs to increase revenue for the company. But being able to make sense of that data takes a lot of time, effort, and knowledge that many people in an organization do not have. That's why we built Amazon QuickSight, our unified business intelligence service. It helps companies quickly analyze their data through tools like dashboards, paginated reports, and embedded analytics. Since 2020, we have been using GenAI models to power Amazon QuickSight Q, which enables any user to ask questions of the data using natural language without having to write any SQL queries or learn BI tools. But we are doing so much more to help companies get insights from the data with QuickSight. Just recently, we announced the preview of generative BI dashboard authoring capabilities for business analysts. The new generative BI authoring capabilities in QuickSight Q make it fast and easy for business analysts to create compelling visuals and reduce the time to deliver the insights needed to inform data-driven decisions at scale. Business analysts simply describe their desired outcome, and QuickSight generates compelling visuals that can be easily added to a dashboard or report with a single click. These changes will lead to exciting new opportunities and the need for employees to evolve their skill sets over time. This leads me to the fourth step of our GenAI blueprint: fostering the right skills to democratize GenAI across your organization. Generative AI will undoubtedly change the way we work. While some tasks will become obsolete and free up time for innovation, GenAI will also create entirely new roles and even new products and services, and you will need to support them with the right people. Hard skills in ML and AI will continue to be important, but soft skills like creativity, ethics, and adaptability will grow increasingly critical with GenAI. To help your employees get up to speed, you will need to invest in training. To help our customers get up to speed, we now offer a collection of free and low-cost trainings to help people understand, implement, and begin using GenAI. For example, we recently released a training on Coursera called Generative AI with Large Language Models, which was developed with AWS experts and AI educators like Dr. Andrew Ng from deeplearning.ai. This is a great opportunity to learn about LLMs and get hands-on experience selecting, training, fine-tuning, and deploying them for real-world applications. We also offer courses for developers using Code Whisperer, executives who want to address their business challenges, and partners that are helping customers create GenAI applications. When it comes to democratizing generative AI, education is one way we can support the workforce as the skill sets grow and change. Another way to support this shift is by democratizing generative AI with the right tools. Implementing guardrails to use generative AI responsibly across your entire organization. Now let's talk about what it means to take a risk-based approach and how looking at risk can help us build more responsibility. Let's look at an example of using AI to identify a soccer field on a map compared to using AI to identify a tumor on an X-ray. These two use cases have very different potential impacts. In the first example, if the AI doesn't identify the soccer field correctly, you might be late to the soccer game. But apart from an inconvenience, no one is harmed. In the second example, we are talking about using an AI to identify a tumor on an X-ray machine. This use case has broader consequences when someone's health is at risk. For a use case like this, you would want to introduce specific guardrails, including testing, appropriate human oversight, confidence levels, and other use case specific safeguards. You can see that risk assessment based on use case helps us identify what issues need additional treatment and what steps you need to take to choose the appropriate design, development, and deployment of these applications. Now, as mentioned, there are new risks and challenges that emerge with the rapid growth of GenAI. Foundation models are not perfect. Without the right guardrails, they can provide false outputs called hallucinations that are based on information in the prompt or in external knowledge repositories. A second issue to consider here is toxicity. FMs can also produce outputs that are hateful, threatening, insulting, or demeaning to an individual or a group of individuals. We must also consider intellectual properties. LLMs can produce outputs that are a verbatim regurgitation of parts of their training data, resulting in privacy and copyright concerns. And finally, data privacy. Now, let's look at how GenAI tools and services can help mitigate some of these risks. Your GenAI tools and services should be architected so your most valuable IP, your data, remains protected and private when you customize these foundational models to meet the demands of your organization. For example, Amazon Bedrock makes a separate copy of the base foundational model that is accessible only to the customer and trains this private copy of the model with your data. This means your data is never exposed or used to train the original base foundational models. And it will have the same AWS access controls that you have with any other AWS service, with over 300 security services and features to support you. As we work with customers to implement this technology, we have defined a number of best practices to help you build GenAI responsibly. These best practices will continue to evolve, but we want to share what we have learned today. The first is to prioritize education and diversity in your workforce. For example, in terms of human annotator training data, promoting diversity in the actual annotators is key because you want to make sure that there is as much representation of different groups as possible. Second, we want to make sure we assess the risk because each use case has its own unique set of challenges and risks to help mitigate. Third, you need to test, and test. Each use case should have its own performance evaluation. And oftentimes, it takes just as much time to come up with a testing system as it did to create the system itself. So you will need to invest in this process. Fourth, we want to make sure that you are iterating over the entire AI lifecycle. There are many components, and it really just continues over and over from conception stage to training and testing stages, all the way to deployment stage, and finally getting feedback from your customers and users to start back at the beginning. To close this section, it's important to know that responsible AI is not work that can be done in a silo. It is truly a multidisciplinary effort that requires technology companies, policymakers, community groups, scientists, and others to come together to tackle new challenges as they arise. We have covered a lot of ground today with our GenAI blueprint for business leaders, including several new tools and innovations to help you start working with generative AI on AWS right away. To help you do this, we are hyper-focused on making it easy to build generative AI applications with security and privacy built in, offering infrastructure with best price performance for generative AI so you can train your own models and run inference at scale, providing generative AI-powered applications for the enterprise to transform how work gets done, and enabling data as your differentiator to customize these foundational models and make them an expert of your business, your data, and your company. AWS has everything you need to accelerate your generative AI journey. AWS has everything you need to accelerate your generative AI journey. There is so much desire to learn more and experiment with GenAI, and this is just the beginning. It's truly an exciting time for leaders who are looking to reimagine and transform their business. We have got a great lineup of speakers and content for you today, and I cannot wait to see what you build with AWS. Thank you.